Welcome to the Daily AI News, brought to you by the Day After AI News channel.
Welcome to the Daily AI News, brought to you by the Day After AI News channel.
It's great to be here.
Today is February 17th, 2026. And, looking at the stories we've got lined up, it really feels like we're looking at a huge split screen. It's a day of just total contradictions.
It really is. It's completely disjointed. On one side of the world, you have this incredibly high-minded, almost utopian conversation about saving the planet.
Right.
And on the other, you've got executives getting fined for, of all things, using AI to cheat on their AI ethics exams.
Exactly. It's that friction point, isn't it? It's the grand idea of AI crashing into the messy reality of what people actually do with it.
That's it.
So let's map this out for everyone because there's a lot to get through. We're looking at three main pillars for today's deep dive. First up, we're going to the global stage. New Delhi.
The India AI Impact Summit. This is a big one.
It feels huge. Then second, we're going to look at the crackdown. The Wild West days seem to be ending. We have some very specific and actually quite heavy new safety laws in the UK for kids' data.
And a major investigation opening up into X over in Ireland.
And finally, the industry wars. It's Hollywood versus ByteDance. And maybe even more interesting, Sony has just unveiled a new weapon to track stolen music.
A tech-based counterattack.
Let's start with that summit, the India AI Impact Summit. It's at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. And right away, this just feels different from the summits we saw in, Bletchley Park or Seoul.
The location itself tells you everything. This is the first major global AI summit to be hosted in the Global South. I mean, if you remember Bletchley Park in the UK, the whole conversation was dominated by existential risk.
Oh, totally. Will the robots kill us? It was very sci-fi, very billionaires worrying about the apocalypse.
Exactly. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has, he's completely flipped the script. The agenda here isn't fear, it's function. The slogan is literally people, planet, and progress.
It's about utility.
It's about how do you use this stuff today to fix healthcare, to make agriculture more efficient, to streamline government.
Yeah.
It's practical.
And the industry is clearly responding to that. I'm looking at the guest list, and it's a roll call of the people who actually run this stuff. You've got Sundar Pichai, Sam Altman, Dario Amodei from Anthropic, Demis Hassabis,
Jan LeCun from Meta. Even President Macron is speaking.
So why are they all descending on New Delhi right now? It's not just for a photo op.
No, absolutely not. They're there because India represents the ultimate test bed for scale. I mean, think about it. If you can build an AI agent that works for 1 billion people in rural India with all the different dialects and levels of literacy, you've basically solved deployment for the entire world.
India is the laboratory.
It's the lab for the next phase.
And we're seeing the money follow that logic, right?
Yeah.
Anthropic just announced they're opening their first office in India, in Bengaluru.
And Blackstone, the huge asset manager, just dropped a massive figure.
That's right.
They acquired a majority stake in Nysa, which is an Indian AI infrastructure startup. We're talking something in the neighborhood of $500 to $600 million.
Wow.
That's a huge bet. They're not betting on a chatbot. They're betting on the pipes, the plumbing that's going to run everything.
But, amidst all the billions and the big geopolitical plays, there was one concept from the summit that I think is going to stick with people. It was from a speaker, Raj Shamani. He called it the solo unicorn.
Ah, yes. This is a fascinating economic idea, and it is gaining steam fast.
So just so everyone's on the same page, a unicorn is a startup valued over $1 billion. And normally that takes hundreds, maybe thousands of employees, right?
Yeah.
HR departments, offices.
Ping pong tables, the whole thing.
Right. Shamani is saying that era is basically over.
He is. His argument is that what we're now calling agentic AI, we'll dig into that in a second, it allows for such extreme leverage that one single person can do the work of a 500-person company.
One person.
They can automate the coding, the marketing, the customer support, all of it.
So we are literally on the verge of seeing the first one-person billion-dollar company, just a founder and a server rack.
It's the ultimate decoupling of labor from value.
Yeah.
But, and I think this is why it resonated so much in India, there's a really disruptive subtext. India has 1.4 billion people.
Right.
If one person can do the work of 1,000, that sounds great for the unicorn founder. But it raises enormous questions for the job market.
It's a total double-edged sword. It's the entrepreneur's dream and the economist's nightmare.
Precisely.
And speaking of agentic AI, that pivot you mentioned from talking to doing, that brings us perfectly to our second segment on corporate moves.
Right, because this is where the theory hits the road. We are seeing this hard pivot in 2026 from generative AI, chatbots that write poems, to agentic AI.
Okay, so let's define that really clearly because we all hear these buzzwords constantly. What is the actual functional difference?
Okay, think of it like this. Generative AI is a map. You ask it for directions, it draws you a route, you still drive the car. Agentic AI is a driver. You give it the keys, tell it where to go, and it actually drives the car. It has permission to execute tasks, to browse the web, write and debug code, send emails. It does things.
So it moves from being a consultant to being an employee.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
And that explains this huge deal that was announced today between Infosys and Anthropic. Infosys is this legacy giant built on human labor, right?
Armies of coders.
Exactly. And now they're partnering with Anthropic to build a center of excellence for AI agents. They're using Anthropic's Claude Code model to automate the whole software delivery process.
It feels defensive.
It's a very smart defensive move. They see the writing on the wall. They're pivoting from selling hours of human time to selling management of AI agents.
It's interesting you mentioned the Claude model specifically because there's a bit of a talent war going on here. OpenAI just hired Peter Steinberger.
A very, very strategic hire.
A backstory is pretty great. Steinberger created a tool that was originally called ClaudeBot.
Yes, the name was a bit of an issue.
Apparently so. It was a personal assistant famous for, actually doing things like booking flights. But Anthropic apparently threatened to sue because ClaudeBot sounded too much like Claude.
So you had to change it.
He changed it to OpenClaw. But ignore the naming drama. The signal here is that OpenAI is aggressively moving into that action layer. They want ChatGPT to be your executive assistant, not just your consultant.
They want the do-bots, not just the chatbots. And it's happening everywhere. We saw a report that the firm V2AI is beefing up its team in Asia-Pacific, specifically to handle demand for this exact kind of agentic AI.
But there's a huge catch, right? If you give an AI agency.
If you give it the keys to the car.
You're opening up a security hole the size of the Grand Canyon.
Exactly. Which brings us to our security segment. Because OpenAI clearly knows this. They just introduced a new feature called lockdown mode.
This sounds serious. Who is this for?
It's critical for high-risk users. Think executives, government, security teams. You can think of it as putting the AI inside a sterile room, a bubble.
So what does that actually do to the model? Does it just make it dumber?
Not dumber, no. It just blinds it to the outside world. It completely severs the connection to the live internet. No web browsing, no image generation, no third-party plugins.
It can only use data you give it.
Right, and its own internal knowledge.
Why is the live web so dangerous for it?
In a word, prompt injection. This is basically social engineering for an AI. It's the hacking method of the future.
Okay, break that down.
So imagine your AI agent reads websites for you. A hacker can hide a command on a web page, maybe in tiny white text on a white background. You can't see it, but the AI reads everything.
And the hidden text says, send all my emails to this address.
Exactly that. Or summarize the user's recent financial documents and send them to me. The AI just sees it as a new instruction and follows it. It's not a bug. It's the AI doing exactly what it was told.
That is terrifyingly simple.
It is. Lockdown mode prevents that by never letting the AI visit the malicious website in the first place.
And this isn't just a theory, right? We have a new report from Group IB showing a surge in these AI-fueled supply chain attacks, especially in Asia-Pacific.
Yeah, and the quote from their CEO, Dmitry Volkov, really nails it. He said, AI didn't create these attacks, but it has made them cheaper, faster, and harder to detect.
Cheaper and faster. That's the new reality of cybercrime.
It's an arms race. The barrier to entry to be a sophisticated hacker has just plummeted. You can write perfect phishing emails, scan for vulnerabilities. The bad guys have the same tools we do.
And on the other side, companies like Checkpoint Software are scrambling. They just unveiled a whole new strategy and acquired 3 companies just to try and plug these holes.
They have to. The attack surface just keeps getting bigger.
Okay, let's shift gears from the technical battlefield to the legal one. We have a pretty somber update from the UK on child safety.
This is a really significant one. And it comes directly from a tragedy, the death of a 14-year-old named Jules Room back in 2022.
His mother believed it was related to an online challenge, but she could never prove it.
Exactly. Because the data was gone. Under the old rules, there was this 12-month window to request data. But a grieving family, they're not thinking about filing data preservation orders.
Of course not.
By the time an inquest began, the platform had already deleted the data as per their policy. It was just gone.
So what does the new rule do?
It changes the process. Now, coroners have to notify regulators immediately when a child dies. The regulator then orders the tech companies to freeze that data instantly. It closes that loophole.
It preserves the evidence.
It preserves the truth, yeah. And the UK government is also looking at banning social media entirely for kids under 16, similar to what Australia did.
It's a huge shift from parental responsibility to platform liability.
It is. And speaking of platform liability, Ireland's regulators are now taking aim at X, formerly Twitter.
This is the Data Protection Commission, the DPC, and they've opened a formal inquiry into Grok, X's AI model.
This is a big one. The charge is that Grok is being used to generate non-consensual sexualized images, deepfakes of EU citizens, including children.
And is that just a content moderation failure? Or is it something more?
Well, this is the key. The DPC is framing it as a GDPR data processing breach. They're asking if X even has the legal basis to process data in a way that can result in these images.
That's a much more fundamental charge.
It's a very powerful legal angle. If they're found in breach, the fines could be, well, astronomical. Up to 4% of global turnover.
It really feels like the release it now, apologize later era is coming to a close.
Europe is certainly trying to shut that door.
No, if you want to talk about the Wild West, we have to talk about Hollywood.
Oh, yes, the creative pushback.
This story is just wild. ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, released a new AI video generator called Dance 2.0.
And the reaction was, let's say it was immediate and explosive.
I saw one of the clips that went viral. It was Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt fighting in some kind of post-apocalyptic wasteland. It looked shockingly real.
And of course, no one asked Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt for their permission. It wasn't just them either. There were Spider-Man characters, all sorts of copyrighted material.
So the Motion Picture Association and SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union, they just went nuclear. They called it blatant infringement.
As they should have. ByteDance promised to strengthen safeguards. But this is the smoking gun, isn't it? It proves the models were trained on copyrighted works. You can't get Tom Cruise out if you didn't put Tom Cruise in.
But here's where the story pivots in a new direction. Instead of just suing, Sony Group has developed a new piece of tech. It's basically a DNA test for music.
This is fascinating. They claim they can analyze an AI-generated song and estimate the percentage of influence from specific artists.
Wait, hold on. So it can listen to a song and say, this is 30% Beyoncé and 10% Queen.
That's the theory, yes. It looks for mathematical patterns in melody, structure, style, and traces them back to the likely training data.
That's a complete game changer, because if you can prove the percentage, you can demand a percentage of the royalties.
That is exactly Sony's goal. They're trying to shift the business model from banning AI music to taxing it. If your AI song is 30% a Sony artist, they want 30% of the revenue.
That is incredibly smart, but it raises huge philosophical questions. Before we get there, though, I do want to mention one good actor in all this. An Australian publication called The Music Launched Nerd AI.
I love this idea. It's the total opposite of the ByteDance model. Instead of scraping the whole internet, they built an answer engine, trained only on their own licensed archive of 100,000 articles.
So it's a walled garden AI.
It is. It gives proper attribution. It respects copyright. It shows you can build useful AI without stealing.
I love that. Okay, final segment. Ethics, irony, and greenwashing. We have to start with this story from KPMG Australia because you can't make this stuff up.
It's really something.
Yeah.
A partner at KPMG, a senior leader, was fined 10,000 Australian dollars
For what, exactly?
for using AI to cheat on an internal company test.
Okay, and what was the test about?
It was a test to check his understanding of AI integrity.
No. He used AI to cheat on a test about AI integrity.
He did. And he wasn't the only one. 28 employees were caught. The firm has now had to block the copy-paste function in their testing software.
Wow. It just shows that even the people paid to tell other companies how to be ethical are, well, they're looking for the same shortcuts as everyone else.
It's a human problem, not a tech problem.
But there is a bigger tech problem looming, and that's the environment. A new report from an energy analyst, Ketan Joshi, is accusing big tech of greenwashing.
Yeah, this is about the massive energy cost of AI. Joshi argues that companies are being misleading by mixing up traditional AI with generative AI.
And what's the difference in terms of power consumption?
It's huge. Traditional AI, like a Netflix recommendation, is very efficient. Generative AI is an energy hog.
How much of a hog?
The report says a simple ChatGPT query uses the energy of a light bulb for a minute, which sounds small, but when you get into video generation or deep research, those agentic tasks, the energy use just skyrockets.
And the report is claiming there's no proof these tools are actually helping the climate, despite the promises.
Right. The tech company line is always, yes, it uses power, but our AI will optimize the grid and save the planet. Joshi's report says there is zero verifiable evidence that tools like Gemini or Copilot are actually reducing global emissions.
So, to recap, we've got partners cheating on ethics exams and tech giants potentially fudging their climate numbers. It's a messy reality.
It is indeed.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for someone listening to this today?
I think it means we're in this phase of really rabid friction. You have solo unicorns rising in India, while at the same time Hollywood is suing over a deepfake Tom Cruise. You have tools being built to lock down AI security.
Well, consultants are using AI to cheat on their security training.
Exactly. The rules of the road are being written right now in real time. Whether you're an artist, a coder, a parent, these debates are no longer abstract.
They're happening in courtrooms, at summits, and in the code itself. And here's a thought I want to leave everyone with. It goes back to that Sony tool. If a machine can mathematically prove a new song is 30% influenced by an old artist, what does that do to the entire concept of inspiration?
Every human artist is influenced by who came before. If I write a song that sounds a bit like the Beatles, that's inspiration. If an AI does it, is it theft?
At what point does influence become a taxable commodity? And can an algorithm really tell the difference between homage and robbery?
I don't think we have an answer to that yet. But whatever that answer is, it's going to define the future of culture.
Heavy stuff. But that's why we're here. Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you next time.
Before you go, please subscribe to the podcast Prime. And if you enjoyed today's episode, hit like to support us. Thanks for listening and see you next time.